Now, from the area's leader in live local news, this is WYLN News, the area's #1 source of live local news and information in Luzerne, Schuylkill, Carbon, and Columbia counties. WYLN News starts now.
Good evening, and thank you for joining us on WYLN News. Here's a recap of our top stories from the week.
Penn State University has released a recommendation report regarding the future of the Commonwealth campuses. The report was shared to the Board of Trustees by President Neely Bendapudi and leaked to the media on Monday. In the report, the recommendation is made to keep the Hazleton, Schuylkill, Scranton, Beaver, and Greater Allegheny campuses open. The report also recommends closing the Wilkes-Barre, Du Bois, Fayette, Mont Alto, New Kensington, Shenango, and York campuses after a 2-year transition period. However, officials say the Board of Trustees must hold a public vote before the decision is made final. In a statement on Monday, Board of Trustees Chair David Kleppinger said he was disheartened to learn that the information had been released prior to a board vote. Due to the complexity of the decision, Kleppinger said the trustees will be taking additional time to review the president's recommendation. As a result, the previously scheduled public meeting for May 15th has been changed to an executive session. More information regarding the public meeting will be released following the executive session. For more information regarding the future of the Penn State campuses, you can visit roadmap.psu.edu.
A Hazleton man charged with the murder of 39-year-old Jessica Lockwood has waived his right to an extradition hearing. According to police, Terrence Ray waived his right to a hearing on Wednesday when he appeared in court in Westchester County, New York. Ray has been charged after the body of Jessica Lockwood was found on fire near Club 40 Road in Hazleton on Sunday, April 27th. Police say Ray was identified as the suspect for the murder after Lockwood's vehicle and stud earring were found at his residence on Muir Avenue, along with a pool of blood. Following an 11-day manhunt, Ray was arrested and taken into custody in Westchester County, New York. By waiving his right to an extradition hearing, Ray has consented to extradition back to Luzerne County. This is a developing story. Stay tuned on WYLN News for updates. The Hazleton area Cougars baseball team held their senior night game Wednesday evening in Hazel Township. A ceremony to commemorate the seniors was held before the game. During the match, the Cougars took on the Berwick Bulldogs with a final score of 12-0, securing their second victory of the season against Berwick. Senior pitcher Sam Miller said that he has been playing with the Cougars for all 4 years of his high school career and that this season has been one of the best.
It's going great. It's fun having a lot of time with all the players on the team and hanging out with a bunch of friends every day.
Assistant coach Michael Barron said he was proud of the hard work displayed by the seniors and is looking forward to coaching them through the district playoffs.
A group of seniors did a great job this year. They came around. It was a team's work in progress, so everybody contributed. So most of the seniors had a chance to participate in the season-long process of getting better overall as a team.
The Cougars' senior night ceremony and game were held at the Pasco Shivo Field in Hazel Township.
Coming up on WYLN News, we check in with State Representative Dane Watrow on Watrow's weekly update. Plus, Chris Fulmer takes us down the path through history with Pittston, Part 4. But first, we'll take a look at our 5-day forecast brought to you by the WYLN Weather Kids. We'll be right back.
Brought to you by Lehigh Valley Health Network and Jefferson Health. Investing in your well-being and building healthier communities because more expertise and convenient care mean better outcomes and a healthier you. Learn more at lvhn.org/Jefferson.
Hi, my name is Melania. Tomorrow it's going to be raining.
We want your child to be our WYLN Weather Kid. Your child can be our feature weather reporter of the day on WYLN News and WYLN social media posts just by using your smartphone or any video recording device. It's easy. All ages are welcome, from toddlers to teens. To find out how, go to the weather section of WYLNTV.com or look for our post about it on the WYLN News Facebook page. Submit your Weather Kid video today. Come shoot at Whitetail Preserve 118 Boulevard Road in Bloomsburg. Their skeet, trap, and sporting clay fields are professionally designed, and all stations are handicap accessible. Whitetail Preserve has resident shooting instructors certified by the NRA in shotgun, rifle, pistol, home safety, and personal protection in the home. Whitetail can also cater any size event, whether it be a private party, corporate event, or wedding. Call 570-384-2314 or 570-790-8969. If you're looking for an affordable pre-owned car or truck, Cheers Auto Sales has a great lineup of clean, dependable, and quality vehicles. Stop in at 610 North Broad Street in West Hazelton, 570-454-7229. Cheers is proud to be celebrating 70 years in business. Do you like craft beer? Do you want to learn the right way to sample wine? How about checking out a restaurant with a unique flavor or a crazy food challenge? These are just some of the things we are featuring on Wine, Hops, and Road Stops. So, spend some time learning about great wine, great beer, and great food on WYLN TV 35.
PPW Nation, get ready for the best of PPW Season 2. Join Paul Bowe, E. Julius Kuiper, Alexander Bravado, Tom Mitchell, and Alex Watt as we take you down memory lane and relive some of the best PPW matches of all time. Saturdays at 5 p.m., Sundays at 10 p.m., only on WYLN.
Welcome back to Watro's Weekly Update. I'm joined here as always with State Representative Dane Watro. Dane, how's it going today?
Very good. Thank you very much. I'm a little bit sick. I know I always talk about the weather when we first start off, but I'm very sick of the rain. Definitely want that to go and get some sunshine back in our area.
Hopefully so. I mean, the rain is definitely important, but I'm also hoping for some sunshine as well in the coming weeks and coming days. I know today we have what seems to be at least a little bit of progress when it comes to the whole situation regarding Penn State Hazelton and the school county district as well. If you could tell us more about what we've seen to learn a little bit about what's going on with Penn State Hazelton.
I want to say it's a victory, but you never know until the official vote is in. Right. And Penn State, Hazelton, and Schuylkill looking like they were going to be saved. We did a lot of work here, and I say we because it was a collaborative effort from many people, just not legislators, but the community, from the chambers, the Hazelton chamber, the Schuylkill chamber. They got involved, very active with it. Senator Argyle and myself, we had the hearing right here in Hazelton. I should say more like a roundtable discussion. And we also had one in Schuylkill County. And drew a lot of attention, and it was not, we gave facts, we showed proof. It's not about just the Nittany lion in the statue, it is the hard numbers and the facts that we provided everybody with student enrollment to the education that's being provided. And two of the main reasons that those campuses needed to stay is affordability and the location. That's the two main reasons why they needed to stay. Affordability is super important. A lot of people can't afford to be out there at main campus living. They commute back and forth. So many local people go to Penn State Hazelton here. So same with Schuylkill County. I'm very happy to hear that it's trending that way until the official vote is in. That is something that we're going to be just watching very close and continuing to fight for all students in that education system there. But I'm very happy, excited. I think my statement was in the paper today that I was just astound, like I could do backflips, and just hoping we're going to monitor it very close, but continue to draw attention to it.
Absolutely. Hopefully we can get a definitive answer on that very soon.
Hope so.
I know you also wanted to share some updates today regarding some of your bills that are going through the House right now. And I know one specific one that is really exciting for you is regarding the disabled veterans and how you want to place some protections for them here.
Yeah, that I'm so happy. Last week, we got it kicked out of committee, and this week we voted on the bill, this House bill. What it's going to do, we're going to increase the ratings for the financial ratings for blind veterans and amputees here that live in the Commonwealth. It's an added benefit added to from what they currently receive from the VA, but us as a state, we're going to kick in some money to make sure those veterans are being taken care of. This is for the blind and this is for the amputees. So I'm super excited. It passed unanimously. There was 4 prime sponsor on this bill, and I talk about bipartisan. This is a prime example of how Republicans and Democrats could work together. It was 2 Democrats and 2 Republicans on this bill, priming it. So we collaborated, worked together, worked hard on it. We got it through, and right now it's sitting in the Senate, and I'm hopeful that Senator who is the chairman of Veterans Affairs, will bring it up for a vote and then kick it to the Senate floor for a vote. And I'm hopeful. I'm praying that this will get to the governor's desk very soon. I'm hoping June. I'm a little bit impatient when it comes to bills. I like to see things progressing in a timely manner. But our veterans who became blind from Agent Orange, or amputees that lost their limbs due to helping us and giving us the freedoms that we have, is just super important. So thank you for bringing that up. I'll keep you posted as this progresses here in budget season during the month of June.
Yep. I know you also, last thing you wanted to share with us today, kind of an interesting update for you. I know you started a podcast.
Yes.
And you want to tell our viewers about that.
Yeah, the House of Representatives started this new program, trying to get information out there to people, what's going on in state government, and I'm huge on with being super thankful to you and WYLN for giving me and affording me this opportunity to get on here and give updates what's going on in state government. The House of Representatives started a podcast. Not too familiar with it, to be honest with you. I'm not a technology guy. I know I always talk about, Facebook, Instagram, and all that stuff that we have. The podcast is something that I'm going to be kicking out every 2 to 3 weeks with the new segment. But there's 3 on there right now: Penn State, Cursive, and there's some concerns out there with our wildlife and deer. And check that out. We get some good updates we had from the Game Commission. A biologist was on there giving an update on some contaminated deer in the area. Nothing to be alarmed or concerned with, but they're just doing testing within the area. She gave an extremely good presentation. Podcasts could be seen on, help me out here, Apple, Spotify, and YouTube.
Yeah, I think you got it. Yep.
Yeah. So there are the 3 sources that people could log in, listen to this podcast, and we'll be kicking them out, like I said, every 2 to 3 weeks with one new one to follow in that time frame.
Gotcha. Well, it sounds very exciting. A new opportunity for you, and new way to reach out to people and get them information with you here in the 116th district.
Yeah,
so,
thanks for bringing that up.
Yeah,
podcast. Just look it up, like I said, Apple, Spotify, and YouTube, as well as repwatro.com. Sign up for those weekly emails. They're very informative on everything that I've been working on, things going on in the district and down in Harrisburg as well.
Yeah, very nice. Lots of great information. And as always, I want to thank Representative Walter for joining us here on Watcher's Weekly Update, and we'll see you next time.
Welcome back to Feel Good Friday. I'm joined here with Dr. John. Dr. John, how's it going?
Good, Brian. It's always a blessing to be with my good friend.
It is Same here, and we're going to talk about journaling today because you had a guest on your show and she was talking about dealing with anxiety.
I know. You know, in my line of work, many people come to chiropractors and get massages for anxiety and depression. So when she said to me that she does workshops, that she overcame her anxiety and depression from journaling. I journal myself at times. My journaling, though, to be honest with you, Ryan, is more so, it's pretty interesting. When you write down a stress you're going through, and then you look back a year later, you see how God, for me at least, has still got me through that stress and God has answered my prayers. It builds up my faith to realize that journaling for me is like, thank you, Lord. I forgot at that time of my life a year ago how stressed I was, and now God answered my prayers. So this woman's advice, all of us experience depression, anxiety, all of us to some degree, in my opinion. So she says, just get a book, write down your thoughts. I'm happy today, I'm sad today, I was hurt, and just by journaling, 10, 15 minutes a day, this woman said she overcame her anxiety, overcame her depression, so she continues to journal. So again, I do journal myself. Yeah, I don't do it every day. I just sort of do whenever I think there's something in my life that I need to write about. But for this woman, if you have a lot of anxiety and depression, write every day your feelings and thoughts in a book. Even if like a diary, but a journal is more so important things that happen in your life, and it might transform your life like it did hers.
Yep, it might transform your life, and I'd like to thank Dr. John for joining us on this edition of Feel Good Friday, and we'll see you next time.
Thank you.
Lehigh Valley Health Network is now proudly part of Jefferson Health. And when two healthcare leaders come together for the community, you can expect more. More locations, more clinical trials, more breakthrough treatments. Jefferson Health and Lehigh Valley Health Network. Together for the future of care.
Are you sitting at home living in pain? Maybe it's in your hands, maybe your back or your hips. The good news is you don't need to live in pain. Why? Because there is Omega XL, a one-of-a-kind, natural, powerful joint relief supplement created from the green lip mussels of New Zealand. Drug-free, non-habit forming. It's small, easy to swallow, and it's backed by more than 40 years of clinical research. As I was getting older, my joints started to feel that wear and tear. But then I tried Omega XL, and it changed my life. If you're experiencing daily aches and pains due to aging and overuse, try Omega XL and see the difference it can make in your life.
Buy one, get two free. 2 bottles of Omega XL plus Vitamin XL D3, a value of more than $85. Call today and you pay only $39.95. Plus, you have nothing to lose because it's backed by our 60-day money-back guarantee. Call now.
A Path Through History is sponsored by the Old Jail Museum, 128 West Broad Street in Jim Thorpe. Call 570-325-5259 or visit them online at theoldjailmuseum.com.
Sometimes the basis for critical Supreme Court cases can come from unlikely sources. On the morning of July 27, 1934, Harry Tompkins was walking home alongside the Erie Railroad's tracks just outside Pittston. It was then that a train came down the tracks, and the train crew on board had failed to notice that one of the car's doors was wide open. The door knocked Tompkins down onto the tracks, where the train ran over his right arm, crushing it badly enough that it eventually needed to be amputated. Tompkins sued the Erie Railroad for negligence, and since the company was headquartered in New York rather than Pennsylvania, the case was heard in federal court. The court agreed with Tompkins' claims and awarded him $30,000 in damages. The Erie Railroad appealed the decision, and when an appeals court reached the same decision, they appealed again to the U.S. Supreme Court. In a 7-2 decision rendered on April 25, 1938, the federal justices, in a decision written by Justice Louis Brandeis, overturned the lower court decision, declaring that state law rather than federal common law would have to be used when dealing with cases that span several states. Many legal scholars consider Erie Railroad Company v. Tompkins to be one of the most consequential decisions in Supreme Court history, given it established the modern precedent of diversity jurisdiction. In the wake of the court's decision, Tompkins' case was referred down to the appeals courts, who, with the federal justice's decision in mind, officially reversed their earlier ruling in the case. Tompkins thus had the misfortune of ultimately walking away with nothing in the end. By the 1920s, coal production in Pittston entered a slump. It was at this time, though, that the garment industry started taking root in town. Fueled by former New York shops looking to get out that city's strict unionization, they soon made Pittston a national leader for clothing manufacturing. This success, however, came with a price, as the workers were underpaid and overworked too often. And many of the shops were mob-controlled, with the leading figure pulling the strings being notorious crime lord Russell Buffalino. It was into this toxic environment that Min Matheson arrived in 1944. She and her husband Bill had been sent by the International Ladies Garment Workers Union to unionize the Wyoming Valley, and quickly realized that the mob would hold their efforts back. Matheson, however, did not back down from the challenge. The mob had murdered her brother in New York for trying to organize their shops there, and she was ready to take them on. She began by challenging Buffalino's attempts to suppress the votes of his female workers, which had them sign the register but let their husbands vote for them. Matheson's selected volunteer, Carmela Salatino, refused to do so to Buffalino's overseer unless she could vote herself. When this gambit failed, Matheson, the ILGWU, successfully overcame the mob's voter suppression in the area. Later efforts, such as 1958's dress strike, effectively established firm union control over the shops and broke the mob's power. When Matheson left the Wyoming Valley in 1963, there were 168 unionized clothing factories in the area with over 11,000 union members, up from 6 businesses and 650 members when she'd arrived 19 years earlier. Matheson later became a founding member of the National Organization for Women. She and Bill would return to the Wyoming Valley in 1972, where she'd be instrumental in getting flood relief to the area after Hurricane Agnes. She died in 1992. By the 1940s, coal mining in Pittston had declined from its peak, but was still a firm employer in the town. The dangers of the work still existed too, though. On the early morning of November 27, 1942, they became apparent to the whole town. An old mine in the town's Eagle Shaft that had not been used since 1868 abruptly caved in underneath Pittston, cracking the earth for half a square mile. The largest of numerous cracks was 150 feet long and too deep for bystanders to see the bottom. Over 200 homes were damaged, and many were without gas or water until the damage was repaired. It was during this glum time for the borough that Pittston residents saw another of their native sons set the sports world on fire, this time on the football field. Charlie Trippi had begun as a star for the then Pittston High Panthers. He committed to the University of Georgia in 1942. Although his time on campus was interrupted by World War II service, he helped lead Georgia to wins in the Rose and Sugar Bowls, and during his time there, finished second in the Heisman Trophy vote in 1946. Trippi was drafted by the then Chicago Cardinals and signed to what was then one of the most lucrative contracts in the young NFL's history. In an 8-year career with the franchise, playing halfback and quarterback, he accumulated 6,053 yards of total offense, the most of any player in NFL history up to that time, and helped lead the Cardinals to the 1947 NFL Championship, the franchise's most recent world title to date. After his retirement, Trippi coached the Cardinals' backfield through 1965. He was inducted into the Pro Football Hall of Fame in 1968. Charlie Trippi died in 2022 at age 100. Back in his hometown, Pittston Aries Football Stadium is named Charlie Trippi Stadium in his honor. 30 years after Trippi played his last game in Pittston, another football phenom took the field there. By then, Pittston Area School District had been formed from the merger of Pittston High with high schools in Avoca, Hughstown, DuPont, and Duryea in 1966, and the team had changed its name to the Patriots. Jimmy Cefalo earned All-State honors during his time at the school between 1970 and 1973, rushing for over 4,000 total yards. He would continue the success at Penn State, where he'd be named Most Valuable Player of the 1976 Gator Bowl, and then a 6-year career with the Miami Dolphins from 1978 to 1984, in which he appeared in 2 Super Bowls and caught, with his face mask, Dan Marino's pass in 1984 that broke the NFL's record for most touchdowns in a season. After retirement, Cefalo pursued numerous media jobs, including a brief stint as host of the game show Trump Card. Drive-ins rose up across America in the 1940s and 50s. Numerous outdoor theaters would take root throughout the Wyoming Valley during this time, and the Pittston area would get 2 of its own around this time. The first, the Comerford Drive-In, opened on September 4, 1948 on Route 315 between Pittston and DuPont. Carved out of a mountainside, the Comerford had room for 1,000 cars, and its 15 ramps were tiered to allow each row an unobstructed view of the screen, which measured a then rather large 60 by 40 feet. Drive-in attendants would volunteer to wipe each car's windshields for a clean view of the movies, and would take food orders from guests who did not want to walk to the concession stand. The Comerford Drive-In closed in 1983, and a Walmart now stands on its site. The second Pittston area drive-in, the Riverview Drive-In, opened on September 3, 1954 with the Victor Mature film Demetrius and the Gladiators. It had a capacity for 600 cars. The Riverview Drive-In operated through 1972, and a decade later it had been replaced by housing. By the 1980s, both coal and clothing manufacturing declined precipitously in Pittston, and the town was searching for revitalization. One avenue came from the area's tomatoes. Ever since the 1960s, the Pittston area had crowed to the world that grew some of the best-tasting tomatoes in the world. In 1983, several residents, including P.J. Melvin, Ken Skaz, and Ann Bradbury, met to discuss ways to improve Pittston's image. During the meeting, Skaz brought up that his neighbor, Val Delia, was a major tomato aficionado, and that perhaps that could be the basis of a major event. Skaz and Delia signed off with the concept with then-Mayor Tom Walsh, who approved of it, and the first Pittston Tomato Festival began in 1984, featuring the very first tomato run. From that beginning, the Tomato Festival has become a major event in the borough every August, with food, parade, music, and a large tomato fight among events that residents have come to look forward to. On March 15, 1993, a massive fire broke out at the LeBaire building on North Main Street. Among those who answered the call to put it out were firefighters John Lombardo and Len Insulaco. They and their colleagues broke through the wall of the building next door to try and get at the blaze. What they and the others were unaware of, however, was that the fire had already weakened the LeBaire building's floor. As Lombardo and Insulaco made their way through the building, the floor abruptly collapsed underneath them, sending them down into the flames along with tons of debris. It would be several hours later when a backhoe had been commissioned to lift up the sidewalk outside to allow additional access to the basement that the other firefighters could safely look for them, but by then Lombardo and Insulaco were dead. The men's memories live on in Pittston with a monument at the corner of Kennedy Boulevard and Water Street. The adjacent bridge is also now known as the Firefighters Bridge.
SJ Kowalski is your Mitsubishi Diamond Contractor. They can install a Mitsubishi electric Mr. Slim ductless heating and cooling system. Mr. Slim systems are designed to make any living space in your home inviting. You can have a different temperature control for every room in your home. The money-saving technology can save you 25 to 50% on your heating bill. For Mitsubishi, Renai, and trained comfort specialists, call SJ Kowalski at 570-455-2600.
This week's show, Let's Talk Chiropractic, is exciting. Anna overcame the language barrier. She learned how to speak English. She had a car accident. She came for a chiropractor, and through proper communication, I'm gentle, and she got great results. So check in on the show.
PPW Nation, get ready for the best of PPW Season 2. Join Paul Bowe, E. Julius Kuiper, Alexander Bravado, Tom Mitchell, and Alex Watt as we take you down memory lane and relive some of the best PPW matches of all time. Saturdays at 5 p.m., Sundays at 10 p.m., only on WYLN.
Come shoot at Whitetail Preserve, 118 Boulevard Road in Bloomsburg. Their skeet, trap, and sporting clay fields are professionally designed, and all stations are handicap accessible. Whitetail Preserve has resident shooting instructors certified by the NRA in shotgun, rifle, pistol, home safety, and personal protection in the home. Whitetail can also cater any size event, whether it be a private party, corporate event, or wedding. Call 570-384-2314 or 570-790-8969.
Something is out there. What it is, no one knows. However, since its first sighting, there have been numerous reports of strange lights in the night sky. Some say they are extraterrestrials, flying saucers. But to all of those seemingly unrelated uncertainties, there is one common thread.
Solo Spaceman. Watch Solo Spaceman on WYLN Thursdays at 1:30, Saturdays at 7, and Sundays at 4:30.
You're watching WYLN TV 35.